Thank you for clicking on this video. This is I Sith Kills, otherwise known as Nick, and today we're going to be talking about the movie Prey. This movie came out, I believe, August 5th, which was last Friday, and gotta say, I liked it. I was a little bit afraid, to be honest, when I first heard of this movie, and then also saw the trailers. Thought it might be a little bit too quote unquote woke, but I'm satisfied that it didn't throw that whole wokeness messaging throughout the whole movie. I mean, there's a little bit of it, but not so much to where it got in the way of the story. But anyways, guys, this is going to be a spoiler review. I'm not going to be talking about play by play. I think we'll just be talking about the things I liked about it, and then maybe some things that didn't really jive too well with me. But anyways, some of the things, one of the things that I definitely wanted to talk about is how well this movie was shot. The cinematography on this movie was amazing. To see actual, real live scenery, background, nature, mountains, waters, rivers, not just a CGI green screen behind the actors was very refreshing. So that's one of the things I definitely want to say. The storyline and the whole reason, why the main character Naru was, basically trying to be strong and, prove the other tribe members wrong that she can be a warrior. Really felt, mixed well with the story. I was a little afraid of it, to be honest with you, but after watching it, I gotta say it really worked well with the story. And Amber Midthunder did really well with her character. I thought one of the main things that I was kind of scared about was how they gonna, portray, um, somebody's three times lighter than the predator, and that's being gracious. Could be able to take the predator out, but they did it in a way where it was believable. Like she used tactics that Arnold wouldn't be able to do. For instance, the abilities and agilities that she had and used, during the last fight, was believable. That being said, I didn't like the way the predator died ultimately, but you know, that's we'll talk about that on the things that I kind of didn't jive too well. But the cinematography was beautiful. The actors did really well. Dakota Beavers, which I think is his first movie, is amazing because you couldn't tell by the way he was acting. He did a phenomenal job. I love the whole brother and sister dynamic they had, and you could just tell like he was portraying the character as like good-hearted, level-headed, believes in his family and his sister. You know, even though there's one part that after he killed the lion, he came back and said, "Well, you didn't bring it home, whatever." But ultimately, he was a very supportive character. I think he really worked well with Amber, and you can kind of tell the dynamic they had with each other and the chemistry as brother and sister. There is a kind of antagonist, not antagonist, sorry. Yeah, antagonist. Kind of like the bad guy of the group, kind of like the bully, high school bully that was played by a guy named Stormy Kep. I thought he did well as kind of like that high school bad guy type. That's kind of like how this whole movie kind of plays out in a way, because there's a lot of the younger characters that we're following that's actually going out for the hunt, and it kind of there's some scenes that kind of react in like these high school movies, and you'll see. I mean, if you watch the movies, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I thought he did really well too. I didn't like the way he died, but he did play that whole high school bully part to a T. Um, what else? Oh, the Predator. Oh my God, the Predator. How he looked and how they kind of de-evolutionized the character itself. Like, he's kind of like the Groot. If you've ever seen Groots, how the Neanderthal kind of has like a, kind of like an outward shape. So the predator kind of looks like Groot in that sense, like a Groot predator, because he kind of looks de-evolutionized. He looks more of a caveman-ish type predator, like not quite evolved to the predator we know and love. But I like the way that it looks. Like, plus, he has like a longer neck, kind of like an elongated neck. Um, you know, very aggressive forehead, and has the teeth that goes moves. I mean, so it has some features that we obviously grown to love, and obviously we all do love. But the look of the predator and the de-evolution of the predator, I loved because it was 300 years ago, so they have to look kind of different. Maybe the forehead was a little bit too much because I mean, if they evolved that much to have more of a straight, more broad forehead in just 300 years, they must evolve pretty quick. Which I guess, hey, I mean, if they're hunting and they're learning and all that from every hunt and every loss, I guess they could evolve pretty quick. So I did enjoy the whole look of the predator. Um, as I say, the scenery, the background, the live shots of the area that they shot was absolutely beautiful. I love the way that they kind of introduced the predator, just kind of getting familiar with his roots, or not the roots, but with his grounding, that area, I should say, or environment. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Getting used to his environment, kind of slowly working his way up the food chain per se. He starts off, killing a snake, then stopping a wolf, killing a bunny, and ultimately killed the wolf. But I like the way he kind of played with the wolf. Like you see him, he's invisible, but you see him going down on his knees, kind of like, all right, boy, if you really want to fight, here's my knife. Go ahead and attack me if you want. So more or less just challenging it, seeing if he really wants it. So I like that. And then after the wolf, um, he had the bear, and then the bear he went on to humans. But I kind of like that whole evolution of where he started all the way from the bottom to the top, I guess. So that was kind of enjoyable to watch because you never really got to see that. They kind of just seemed like the predators just started killing humans right away in the first predator. Um, so and then also the story. The story was good. The whole, like I said, relationship with the brother and sister, and how the tribe is technically women go hunt and gather. They don't usually hunt with the men, that kind of thing. So it kind of made sense with the story because that's how it was back then. You have a character that is more of an outsider that believes that she is a warrior, and she makes it believable the way she practiced and progressed through the movie. Figuring out new tricks like using that rope, tying it around the axe. I thought that was very smart. And she progressed. She didn't automatically was amazing. I mean, she did learn pretty quickly. And there's some parts where she, was very ruthless, especially to the French settlers there. But overall, I did enjoy it. Her character as well, and her progression to become a warrior, I did enjoy seeing that play out. And just being an hour and 40 minutes, it you know didn't really waste any time. I mean, it started off a little slow, but that's just because it's introducing the characters and the background and the motivations and all that. But overall, it was very interesting through in and throughout for me. Anyways, what else can I say that I liked? The CGI was okay for the animal parts, and I liked that they used practical effects with the predator. There was actually a tangible predator. It wasn't just all CGI all the time. Obviously, when you see the face of the predator, yeah, you can tell there's this definitely some CGI, but you kind of have to. I mean, if you wanted to elaborate, the features of the de-evolutionize de-evolutionizing the predator, then you kind of have to use CGI, you know. Otherwise, you get like the cave-in eyes that we usually get with every single predator we see. So, that was doable. The CGI for the bear scene, though, but I guess we'll talk about that more of the dislikes. But yeah, I mean, overall, um, those are, I guess, the main things I liked about it. I'm probably missing a few things, but there is some things obviously that didn't work for me. Like there is one scene where Nauru and her brother was, attacking or not attacking, but hunting a lion, and Nauru gets knocked out after seeing the predator come towards her and the lion. She gets knocked out, gets hit, behind her head, and then suddenly the scene ends, and then she's in the tent talking to her mother, and she just got brought back by her brother, and you just missed a lot of time. Like, how was the brother able to bring her back, then go back to the lion's den, kill the lion, and then come back, within a couple minutes of her waking up? And mind you, the predator was there too, because Naru seen the predator right before she got knocked out. So what happened there? Like, how did the brother that was played by Dakota Beavers, how did he like go back undetected by the predator, kill that lion because it must have been a pretty good fight, between the brother and the lion, and then come back undetected with the predator? So I don't know. That kind of didn't work really well with me. Um, how the predator died, that's another way, and how the brother died too, because the brother had this like badass scene where he was kicking the predator's ass, like literally, like more than Arnold did. I mean, he was doing abilities and agilities that obviously Arnold cannot do. Um, and he was winning. He was winning. But how he died, he just turned to his sister and just basically gave up. Like, this is it for me. This is where my story ends. You know, like he didn't even need to tell her that. He could have just, because Nauru even said, "Let's get out of here. Let's like basically regroup. Maybe even attack this predator together." But he just kind of gave up. Like he just accepted that the predator is going to be behind him to kill him. So I didn't like that. I didn't like how the brother died. I would have liked to see, because he had such a like that badass scene where he was kicking the predator's ass. I would have liked to seen him and his sister maybe take the predator down together. That would have been a little bit better, I thought. Maybe think a little bit better of an ending, working together as a team kind of thing. But but yeah, I didn't like the way he died, and I didn't like the way the predator died. Now, the fight between Naru and the predator, I did enjoy, but the way the predator died ultimately was kind of, I don't know, kind of dumb. But I mean, otherwise than that, the movie was great, right? But that's my one complaint is just how the predator died, how Nauru put the helmet, and I don't know why. Like, it's kind of like the Iron Man, ending where Jeff Bridges and Tony, well, Robert Downey Jr. were shooting each other, and Jeff Bridges didn't have his guiding system anymore. So this predator, he doesn't have his helmet anymore, but he still is able to shoot these arrows. But he sucks in aiming apparently, because he never hits his target without the laser. Like, if the laser is not on the target, he can never hit the target. And this arrow just follows wherever the laser is. And he knows he doesn't have his helmet, but he still tries to shoot her with an arrow. And the helmet is pointed from behind him with the laser, and he ultimately kills himself, just like the bad guy and the predators, just accidentally killing himself. So I guess those are the parts I didn't like too much, but besides that, everything else in the movie was fantastic. I thought all the characters really played well off each other. The mm, American Indian, fighting scenes where, two of the American Indians were fighting against the predator, I thought was pretty awesome. I thought the predator was pretty ruthless, especially cutting off the legs of the American Indian, or the Comanche, that stabbed him in the foot. So he got his revenge, cutting off both his feet. So there's a lot of bloody, gory scenes. Another thing I liked too was the ash scene. The ash words are hard. The ash scene, where the predator was walking through the ash, and the ash was hitting his shield or his invisibility, and it made him visible. Like that looked amazing. The whole massacre of the French settlers was an amazing scene. I love that scene. That was great. It's probably the best, you know, murder spree predator scene you've ever seen. But the thing I didn't like though was the French, how they portrayed the French settlers, like very cartoonishly evil. Like they actually reminded me of Beauty and the Beast, where the French, had all the pitchforks and they were comically evil, like very comically evil, and that's kind of how they portrayed here, especially with this one guy. This one guy had a scene where he turns around and looks in the camera like this with a fire behind him too. Now we're when she was in the cage, and I was just like, wow, that is very cartoonish. But besides that, I really enjoyed the movie. If you haven't seen it yet, I definitely recommend it. It's not, better than Predator 1. It's not better than Predator 2, but I think it's probably the third best installment, and definitely better than The Predators 2018 mess by Shane Black. That was just, I mean, I did enjoy that hotel scene when she woke up and they were betting. I did laugh a lot during that scene, but otherwise, that movie was just horrible. Definitely better than Predators um, with Adrian Brody. I didn't quite like that one either. So I don't know. I think this is a good third entry. Um, Definitely the best since Predator 2. So if you haven't seen it, I definitely check it out. But I think that would do it for me, guys. Definitely my opinions on the movie. But if you haven't seen it, I definitely suggest checking it out. If you did like the video, please hit that like and subscribe button. And yeah, we'll be reviewing more movies. But anyways, thank you for clicking on this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.